Hello, my YouTube family. God love each and every one of you for bearing with me. It has been a while and I completely understand. Right now I'm also playing catch up at the same time. We were doing a lot of getting kids registered for school, getting a lot of things transferred, and with our family coming in and moving here. So it had been a little while since we started doing anything. So I am currently now getting busy on this homestead as I realize there's only 4 more months and winter's going to be upon us. So yesterday we did a dozen jars of canned hamburger. I did 5 pints of cut green beans, and today I am actually going to be dehydrating garlic so that we can make our own homemade garlic powder and granulated garlic. Now with this, I could use granulated or sliced. I could use this as a reserve to refill this powder back up. I could take some of this powder and add salt and make garlic salt out of it, which I make my own homemade Lawry's garlic salt. So that's what we're doing. We had reinstated our Sam's Club card, so we went to Sam's. The first bag, I think it was like 3 pounds of already peeled garlic, and that's where these come from to refill this. This time these are whole cloves, 2-pound bag. I think it was like $6 I paid. So I've taken a whole 2-pound bag, and I'm currently peeling these now so I can slice them and put them on the dehydrator. While I am doing this, I am going to talk to you because there was a question asked, and I'm going to go ahead and put these back and come back with you, and we'll talk about a question that was asked for me, and I thought that was really important. So we'll be right back. Okay, my beautiful family, let me get situated here. Sitting here peeling this garlic is somewhat fun, somewhat not. I save the peels to this because it goes into my compost. And naturally we have our green tea, and I had added some anise hyssop to this. I did not cook this on the stove. I actually put it in a half-gallon jar and let the sun bake it. So this is actually sun tea. Behind us I've got chicken breast cooking, because I am going to be making casseroles, one low carb, one normal, of chicken cordon bleu for the family. So we've got a lot we've been doing every single day. One of the members had asked me a question. I thought it was actually an interesting topic to point out. So that's what this video is going to be about. She had said that she would like to know what made us start becoming homesteaders. How did we get it started? What was the reason we started homesteading? And I realized that that was one topic that was never brought up. So that was a good topic. And it's something that makes me look back today, 5 years later, and still I do not regret one bit us starting what we did, because look at the times we're in now. Look at the price of groceries. I mean, look what I'm doing here. I spent, for example, I spent $5.99, I think it was, for a 2-pound bag of actually really nice size cloves of garlic. So I'm able to get the mark on this, which is hard to see. It's like right down here for garlic powder. Now this is going to last. It lasts us all year round. And then I have refills like this for $6. Can you imagine what this would cost if you were to buy it by what's available, the small or even the big containers like this that are $14, y'all? So I am not sorry I started this. So what made us start homesteading? Well, when we moved here and we started buying this place, I vowed that I would always tell y'all the truth, and that I would not lie about anything or sugarcoat anything basically either. So truthfully, I was hungry. My husband was an over-the-road truck driver. Freight at that time was really bad for owner-operators. He was stuck. Our truck kept going down all the time, and truck drivers always have a motto: if those wheels ain't turning, they're not earning. And that was absolutely true. Those wheels were not turning, and so we did everything what he could make to keep him going on the road. So I had to figure out another alternative. I looked around for assistance in our town, and at the time there was none. So I had to do some maneuvering to be able to get food. And one day, I can't remember what made me find it, but I ran across some information about homesteading. The first two homesteaders I learned from were Living Traditions and Appalachian Homestead. Those two, especially Living Traditions, they helped me in such a way. And I started looking at this property at the time, and I had a couple packs of seeds that I started out with Walmart. That's before I started learning about heirloom seeds and all this stuff. So I started looking at those seeds, and I looked at our ground. Honestly, our ground was so poor. Underneath it was literally garbage buried in our yard. So, but I thought, you know what, it's worth a shot. It was just me at the time, and I wanted to be able to do something for myself, even if a few vegetables would have helped. To be honest with you, tomato sandwich sounded really good. I could get a thing of flour, sugar, water, and I could make my own bread. So it started out homemade. We started doing homemade when we were living on the rig. We lived on our rig for about 4 years. For 4 to 7 years we lived on our rig. And that's before we found this place. So I knew how to cook. Some things was hard to do it on a semi-truck, but for the most part, I can even cook a gourmet meal on our rig. So I knew how to cook from the beginning. But since we were home now, and I had a place to get off the truck, I started venturing into baking and everything else a whole lot more. So I thought I'd go into self-sufficient lifestyle. From there, I started planting seeds, and I ended up, we didn't have really good crops, but we had some crops. So, and it was enough to keep me fed and keep me going. So I decided to venture on how we could improve. And that's when my husband, he decided to basically started coming off the road. We decided at this point it was costing us more to keep this rig running, so we decided to sell it. When we sold it, we took what we made and we paid off our house. He found another local job, and it started being a whole lot better than what we had. So we started investing in greenhouses, raised beds, and that's how we grew to where we're at today. A whole lot bigger. And I started at that point joining homestead groups on Facebook, and I met a beautiful lady from Alabama who became my mentor. She taught me days on end on the phone, spent hours with me teaching me how to, and I knew how to water bath can, but pressure canning was my weakness, and she got me out of my fear. And she was right. I mean, we always had a motto, you know, I could be given a fish and I would eat for that day, but if I learned how to fish, I could eat for a lifetime. The same aspect in canning. I could can quite a bit on water baths, but to be able to do a whole lot more in everything that I could possibly dream of that was safe to can, green beans, corn, meat, and stuff like this, I had to learn how to pressure can. She helped me face my fears, and before I knew it, I was off and running, and I was no longer hungry. Honestly, we started filling a pantry. I was super amazed, and it made me want to work harder, so much harder, to where We are now in year 4. My pantries, as you notice, we did the pantry challenge. We found ways because, yes, my husband's job in the wintertime started slowing up really, really bad. We wanted to make sure that we had enough for our bills and to be able to sustain us for the winter. So that was my part. I knew how to do this, and I know one thing. I wasn't going hungry again. I knew what it was like to go hungry. Not a lot of people can say that, but I can say I do know, and it's bad, y'all. It's bad. In some ways, it's painful. But I knew there had to be something, and it was an old metaphor that I had also with, I had a pack of seeds and a shovel in my hand, and I could choose to remain to go hungry, or I could be sustainable. And I chose to be sustainable. I chose to work hard. I chose to take that shovel in my soil and dig. I chose to plant that seed and grow. And that's how I became a homesteader. When you do without for so long, and I will be honest, at this time, we started living more comfortably up until, I'll be honest, up until 2.5 years ago. Things started changing again, and we're no longer comfortable. I am at the point that I'm doing all that I can do on this property because we are small. We are not a big-time farm. And big-time farmers, they can do so much, but honestly, then you got the weather and everything else. There's nothing you can do with this. So I'm doing the best I can. But would I ever stop being a homesteader? Absolutely not. If it meant me doing what I'm doing to stay alive, and let's be real, folks, nobody wants to talk about it, but what if it comes down that this is all we have to do? What if it comes down that we go back to the old days and live like we used to do, like we're doing right now? How many people would literally survive doing that because they got so used to the convenience of the world of the grocery stores? I can't depend on the grocery stores, and here's what I'm finding, and I don't know about you, but for healthy foods, we're running into quote-unquote shortages. We're not able to get turkey ham. Why? I mean, honestly, there's no reason for this. So, but the other part of it is because I am small. I can't grow like the big-time homesteaders or farmers do. I do have to still depend on a grocery store. So what I'm doing is finding my deals, learning to shop by bulk, do what I have to do, just like I'm doing here. I value out the money, such as garlic powder. Am I going to get, I honestly don't even know the size of those containers that are about $14 now, but they were a pretty good size. Versus $6 to sit here with you like I'm doing right now. I'm just having a conversation with you. We're sitting together like we would as family or friends. I'm sitting here like Grandma used to do with picking her beans and shucking her peas or breaking her beans for canning. I'm sitting here cleaning my garlic, but for $6. And so what would I choose to do? Work for it. And I get ultimate results. As a matter of fact, this tastes to me so much better than anything I get at the store. So this is what I vowed to do, and I'm still staying with it. This is how we became a homesteader. Literally why we became homesteaders. It just made sense when we were going hungry. You know, we learned very quickly in this world, the world ain't going to help you every time you turn around. Some of us don't get assistance. Some of us don't get any help whatsoever. So we have to do what we have to do. And I was one who did not get any help. And still to this day, I don't. I have to figure out every day how to keep us sustained. Homesteading was my answer. And it will always be my answer. Buying by bulk, breaking it down, will always be my answer. Finding my deals and shopping for my family will always be my answer. I will save my leftovers and put them in the freezer. That will always be my answer. And even though we have health restrictions, I guess you would call them, I still can do what I'm doing. And I've shown that to each and every one of you. It's possible. It absolutely is. It's also possible to have flavor and not miss anything. It all depends on how bad do you want this. How bad do you want to take care of your family in hard times? I honestly sat there one day, and this is my vulnerable side that I will talk to you about. Let me get my hands clean because this is kind of important. So I will be right back with you. My hands were getting sticky, y'all, from the garlic. So, the vulnerable side of reality and truth, why I really came to the point of homesteading in a very serious manner. Again, like I said, my husband was out on the road, and at this time, this place here was not, I mean, what you see now has been built back together, but it wasn't. This place was completely gutted. There was no rooms. It was nothing but base. It was an outside frame, but the inside was just tore up. So it was also in certain rooms they were burnt. And one day I just got to the point, I ended up praying. I sat in that burnt room. I sat on the floor, and honestly, at that point, here I am, 50-something years old, and I cried like a baby praying, Lord, what do I do? How do I survive? How do I do this? And I honestly came to the point where homesteading was my answer. And I don't regret it. And I've learned to be very accustomed to this, a very welcoming, a very much a part of my life every single day now. And I will continue to grow and be able to keep up to the best of my ability. So the question, how did I become a homesteader? What did I do? And why I do what I do? Well, this is my answer. When you go hungry, it tends to change your whole outlook. And honestly, being a homesteader, making everything homemade from scratch, I didn't realize how much healthier it made us. And the way I used to eat, to be very honest with you, although I told you all I had lost a tremendous amount of weight doing low carb, I got up to 210 pounds, but I still seriously believe if it weren't for homesteading, doing the things I do, I could have been a whole lot higher in my weight. So there was benefits to this. Many, many, and there still is today. So I'm hoping this helps somebody out there. If you are going through what we did 5 years ago, if you don't know what you're going to do or how you're going to feed your family, very honestly, get some land, get some pots, fill it with dirt, start adding some seeds. We're actually getting ready to do some fall seeds now. I'm going to be planting some beets. We've already on our second round of new batch of green beans. I'm going to be getting ready for some sugar snap peas. We're going to be planting some cauliflower, some Brussels sprouts, maybe. I don't know about those. Cauliflower for sure. Some turnip greens, kale, lots of lettuce. We're going to be planting these very soon. These are vegetables that like the cooler weather. And so this type of weather now, and Lord have mercy, y'all, it has been so hot here. But it's going to be cooling off, and we need this to germinate the seeds. And then once it starts cooling off, it'll help grow the seeds. So we're getting ready to do that, and come winter, everything will be pulled, cleaned out, replenished in the soils, and we will wait until spring to plant anymore. So I am hoping this video has helped somebody else. I am hoping that maybe if you don't have any answers, that this will help you. Yes, we are more than just low carb. Yes, we are more than just Mediterranean. Yes, we are more than just homesteading. We are a combination of all things. We survive to the best of our ability. We turn around and live the old-fashioned way. It has proven to itself to be worthy enough to keep going, and I will probably do this, y'all, until I can't do it no more. I don't care if I'm 80 years old and I'm still kneading bread. I will do what I have to do because I love this lifestyle. I will be back very soon to do some more recipes with you. We are getting things straightened out now, so I will be making some future meals. And actually now our recipes have changed, so we went from 2 to 7, so we're having to bulk up our recipes and still sometimes make 2 different sets of meals. So I will be actually family-based videos and cooking from now on instead of just for a couple. So that might help a lot of other folks too. I love you all dearly, and I really am entirely grateful to you for waiting upon me to get all of our ducks in a row and everything back to normal to the best of our ability. We still have a few things we have to change and do, but for those of you who stuck with me, God love you, and we will be back again very soon. I love each and every one of you dearly, and until next time, stay hydrated, stay cool, and we will see you again. Much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead.